In the TV series Young Justice, there are two superhero characters on the team, named Kid Flash, real name Wally West, and Artemis, whose real name is also Artemis. Now, when they first met, they hated one another.
0, 3.
The Wall Man is here! Now let's get this party started! Ted?
Wallman, huh? I love the uniform. What exactly are your powers?
Who's this?
Artemis, your new teammate.
Kid Flash, never heard of you.
Then, over time, they grew to tolerate one another, then fond of one another, and finally, they started dating and ultimately fell in love.
Happy New Year, Justice League.
I should have done this a long time ago.
No kidding.
They continued as a couple while fighting crime together on the team for a long time, around 5 years to be precise. Then, they both decided to quit the hero game and retire. The question is, why did they decide to do this all of a sudden? Now, before I go any further, I should say that there are many versions of these two characters, and that this video is based purely on the Young Justice TV series, the Young Justice Legacy video game, and the comic book tie-ins. Which, considering everything I've said so far, may seem obvious, but people tend to troll me in the comments if I don't say that at some point in my videos. Now, the first thing you have to understand is that this is not just some fling. Wally and Artemis are very much in love. They live together and plan to marry one another and spend the rest of their lives with each other. The second thing you have to understand is that they are not the only couple on the team. Another couple is Gar under the codename Tempest and Tula under the codename Aquagirl. There is also Superboy, real name Connor Kent, and Miss Martian, real name Megan Morse. Now, all three of these couples seem to do fine as couples while fighting crime as well. So there seems to be no reason for them to retire, as they can manage both sides of their lives easily. That is, until the events of the video game Young Justice Legacy. In the video game, the Light get hold of a magical tablet that summons a water entity with godlike power that was going to destroy the world, and the only way to defeat the creature was for Tula to cast a spell that involved sacrificing herself. Needless to say, the team took this hard, especially her boyfriend Gar and the couples of the group, particularly Wally and Artemis.
Team, I know you're all grieving, but remember you saved billions of lives today. Dr. Sandsmark is safe, and rescue efforts are underway across the globe. With Tiamat dormant once again, the world is no longer threatened. We recovered the statue fragments from Marduk's temple, and we will destroy them.
Yeah. Tell that to Tula. Tell that to Garth.
Every member knows the risks, Artemis. It is not the first loss we have suffered, nor will it be the last.
Seeing Tula die hammered home the realities of Wally and Artemis' situation. They realise that what they do is dangerous. They've done the hero thing for years and managed to avoid serious injury or death.
Hey, arm broken in combat against the Injustice League here.
But how long can they keep that up until one day one of them is seriously hurt or killed?
Artemis, behind you! Artemis!
And so they have a decision to make. What's more important to them, the hero lifestyle or their relationship? And they chose the relationship and retire from hero work. And that is their reason for retiring, making sure that both of them stay alive. Basically, they don't want to end up like Gar and Tula, with one of them dead and the other one heartbroken and alone. They want to have a happily ever after together, and they realise that they can't do this if they remain heroes, as there will always be a high risk of one of them dying, whereas if they are civilians, that risk becomes dramatically reduced. Now, I do have to say that they are kind of bad at retiring. Kid Flash comes back to the hero game to help out when Impulse arrives in the present time after time travelling from the future.
Wally, what are you—
Nightwing called. Thought I might be of some help with this mess.
You're Wally West, my first cousin once removed.
The operative word being removed.
And Artemis comes back to go deep undercover to investigate the Light.
Still, only we four know the secret.
This secret and the other. That you've been under deep cover within Black Manta's organization since leaving the team.
And then they both are involved in shutting down the Light at the big confrontation between the team and the Light and the Reach.
Hey there, Vandy!
You miss me?
And they survive all of this just fine, until the Reach try to destroy the world and they are needed to save it from being destroyed.
Every single magnetic field disruptor must be disabled before they chrysalis to guarantee Earth's safety. Each MFD is protected by multiple Beetle Tech drones, and each drone is the equivalent of a Beetle warrior. Blue Beetle has located 20 MFDs around the world. There's 40 of us assembled here, so you'll be in squads of 2.
And ultimately, Kid Flash is forced to help out the Flash and Impulse,
I wouldn't call it simple. You'll be attempting to siphon its power with your own speed trails. It'll take a massive amount of kinetic energy.
Do you think it'll be enough?
Recognize Kid Flash B03.
Which then leads to his death, though he may not be dead. See my other videos for more information on that. And after Wally's presumed death, Artemis decides that she has no reason to stay retired. After all, she only retired so that she and Wally could be together, and with him gone, she decides she might as well go back to the hero game. But she decides to come back with a different codename. Instead of Artemis, she comes back as Huntress.
Artemis was Wally's partner. I need some distance. I need a change. So let's see how Tigress does.
As a hero?
As a blonde.
And Impulse takes over the mantle of Kid Flash, which may seem a little tasteless, but it was actually Wally West's idea in the first place, so he is actually honouring his memory.
Nice look, by the way. Yeah, you think? Yeah, though honestly, I always figured you'd wind up in something with a little more yellow and red.
Seriously?
Hey, once this whole invasion thing's over, Artemis and I are going back into retirement. Someone needs to carry on the family tradition.
Dude, that is so crash!
But if it wasn't for the fact that Kid Flash died, Artemis and Kid Flash would have once again retired and returned to a civilian lifestyle. I personally think that this wasn't their fault. Admittedly, they didn't need to get involved the first few times they came back to the hero game. Wally didn't have to help out with Impulse, and Artemis didn't have to go undercover.
What was I thinking? Wally and I really had something special together. Leaving the whole hero thing behind so we could just be normal. But when Nightwing called, I couldn't say yes fast enough.
Though in both cases, people they care about would have died if they hadn't come back.
Actually, he saved me. Or at least, you all did. Neutron's overload accelerated. Even at my top speed, I'd have never made it to the desert in time.
But in regards to the Reacher's doomsday device, if they hadn't helped out, then the whole human race would have died, along with Kid Flash and Artemis, and everyone they care about. So I don't really think there was anything they could have done to avoid this tragic end, as everyone would have died if they had stayed retired. But what do you think? Do you agree that they had no choice and that Kid Flash was needed to save the world? Or do you think that the heroes would have found another way to save the world? Be sure to let us know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching, and feel free to subscribe, share, like, and comment.
You look good.
Really? Because I feel like a fraud.
Well, don't. You're honoring Wally's memory by becoming Kid Flash. I know he'd be proud.
Thanks.